the Dream Media Network. Christopher DeSimone here on the Working Title Podcast, as we like to say. We still haven't figured a name for this thing in the last 3 months, so we're going to get there one day, I promise. You may know me in the mornings. I host Wake Up Tucson on KVOI 10:30 a.m. Happy to work with Dave, Clint, and the entire family here at Live the Dream Media. Make sure you download the app on your Google or Apple Play stores, and it's really amazing. We're adding streaming music channels, all of this good stuff. So Live the Dream Media app on the Google and Apple stores. And making his debut with me on this show, even though we've talked many, many times in the past, is my man and friend, Juan Ciscomani.
Hola.
U.S. Congressman, CD6. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Living the dream, like the show says.
Thank you. Thank you for working with our branding here.
Trying to help you out.
So here you are running again your second time for Congress as an incumbent.
Yeah.
Talk about what's the difference this time? What have you learned from 24 months ago to the Juan of 2024?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a lot of differences. The community is a great community. The district didn't change, right? In the sense that it was redistricting, so it was a new district last time. It was still being figured out in terms of the voting blocks, but it comes down to be about a third Republican, a third Democrat, and a third Independent. So this is the kind of district that good ideas win. You got to go out there, show up, grind it out. People see you, understand what's on their mind. The issues are very similar as 2022. It's the economy, it's the border, it's veterans. These are the kind of the same things that we're still dealing with today. One of the main differences, both there's pros and cons, I guess. I mean, the first attack ads and videos against us started playing about 3 to 4 weeks after we were sworn in. Let that sink in, right? I mean, you had, this. I'm not even going to give it any credit, but talking about how we were choking small businesses out of existence, and I mean, just the most random things, and that started playing. I think it was like February of 23. So there's just been this concerted effort, organized against us. You've seen the letters to the editor that the Star loves to run almost on daily basis. Random people, they're obviously a lot of them are operatives. So from the Democrat Party here in Pima County. So there's been a very focused effort to attack us from the very beginning before we even took any real votes. They were already on us. So that hasn't been the most fun part of it, but we knew it was coming. So we've just focused on doing the job. And that's one thing that plays to our advantage because we have a record. What they try to say, he will do this or may do that. Well, we just got to look at the record. And I think my record is probably my strongest point here in favor of being an incumbent.
Well, good thing you mentioned the Arizona Daily Star letters to the editor, which is going to basically all people who get that paper, I think, however small the circulation is, they've all know who they're voting for already. So any of the independent people.
I think that's true in so many ways. When the polling show undecided voters, I think these are voters mainly that don't want to say who they're voting for. But when you look out there's definitely a number of people that may be undecided, but the majority of people that are being categorized as undecided, I think they have decided, but just people don't like to answer polls. Those polls are not easy to get through. They're 25, 30 minutes long, ask you a bunch of questions. And, if you pick up the call on the drive somewhere, you're there in 15, 20, you're like, listen, I got to go. And sometimes you hang up at the very last minute, so that call is done. I keep hearing from conservatives, they always tell me, I don't answer polls. I don't answer those calls. So that's very common, I guess, as well. So
I'm a political nerd. I don't do them.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, anytime the phone number pops on my phone that I don't recognize, I don't, most of the time I don't pick it up. So curiosity gets the best of people sometimes, and they're like, I'm going to pick this one up. They do, and they're like, I shouldn't have picked it up.
We've had this discussion of what's a truly undecided voter right now in 2024, and Congressman Schweikert was saying, it's really funny. He goes, are we really down to people who they don't watch anything political?
Yeah.
Right? They're streaming their music in the car. They get home and they stream Netflix all day, but they're still going to show up and vote.
Yeah.
Is that, they've pushed all politics and news other than maybe a bored thumb scroll as they're going through their social media.
You know what I know for a fact, because I get to hang out with a lot of people that are not in the political sphere. I've told you before, and I said yesterday, my coaching is one of the things that keeps me more grounded than anything else. Dropping kids off at school. Laura is coaching our soccer team, so we have 2 playing soccer, a couple playing football. So I'm coaching football, she's coaching soccer. So we get to interact with a lot of parents that, we can say that they've pushed politics aside to live their life. I think politics has pushed all these people aside, but with the overbearing issue of not giving it a break. When we were in full mode campaign, people were saying, "Hold on, didn't you just get elected?" These cycles never end.
No.
And people get tired of that because they feel like they can't just move on, give the people that get elected a chance to work and then go, judge them on that work. So a lot of these people have disconnected, but they've been pushed out, I think, by just like I said, I mean, the campaign never stopped, and that's just tiring for people in the community.
There was a Pew Research just came out on the 2024 election on their survey about how do people feel about the presidential campaign, right?
Sure.
And they talk about does not make you feel proud of your country, 79%. Right?
Too negative. Too negative. Okay.
Right? Not focused on important policies. Right? And then, of course, whether it was dull or interesting. But so not focused on policy.
Yeah.
And always too negative.
That's one of my I think people's view that I keep hearing about this campaign. What we've put out has been the policies that we are for, what we want to do. What Kirsten Engel has done in our campaign, she's focused her attention on attacking me. And 90% of her ads are all about what she disagrees. And also I should say that they're vastly lies. But that's what she has focused on. People don't know what she's for because she doesn't have any ideas that could work. And her whole strategy and the National Democrats that came in here with millions of dollars, they think they can buy this seat, is to just come in and attack and attack with made up information and lies and offer nothing in return. Their view is to tear down, but that doesn't work in this community. That's not the history that we have, especially for this seat. Respectable people have had this seat on both sides of the aisle, and we've always worked with both sides and make sure that we focus on the results. So, but that just shows how disconnected she is. She's from Chicago, of course, a university academic, doesn't even live in the district. So you can't expect her to understand the district where she is.
Where do we think she lives? Is she a Phoenix girl?
No. She lives in Sam Hughes. So she lives right by the U of A.
Okay. So she's in Tucson, but not in the actual district.
Yeah. She's a Grijalva constituent. So she'll get to vote for him, but she won't even get to vote for herself in that election, in our election here in 20 days. And she doesn't show up, Chris. I can't tell you how many times it just happened at the Salsa Fest over in Safford, where we were both scheduled to be there, and last minute she just canceled on them. So she does that consistently. It's a far ride to Safford. It's a far drive. It was a hot day, and I was there with the whole family though, and when we show up for the people there. I was just in Eloy over the weekend. I was in Casa Grande yesterday.
Hold on, does Safford still have the Salsa Trail?
The Salsa Trail?
Yeah.
Well, they have the Salsa Fest.
The Salsa Fest.
That Salsa
there used to be a
Fest.
thing called the Salsa Trail. All those little towns. Might even went into New Mexico a little bit of where
so they come in now to this competition, and I'm one of the judges for the salsa. I have some experience eating salsa and chips. And so I put my skills and
sounds like profiling.
Skills. I didn't take any offense when they invited me. I just said, hey, hold on. I get to eat salsa and chips and do you guys a favor. I'm in. So I've done that a couple of years now. And restaurants compete and everything. It's a lot of fun, and the whole community goes. That's one of the things about rural Arizona. Whenever there's a parade or there's some kind of event like that, people just show up out of everywhere around the area. So I'm proud to keep showing up, and she hasn't been there for rural Arizona for sure.
So one thing about her that's interesting. So she was in the legislature for 5 years, I believe, and as a guy who's done radio and columns and watching all of this stuff, I could tell you that Steve Farley as a D, I could tell you the things that he was involved with pushed those things. As a Democrat, right? I couldn't tell you one thing that I associate to Kristen Randall when she was in the legislature when it comes to policy.
Yeah,
there's nothing off the top of my head where I go, oh yeah, she's known for blank.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
It's same here. I've been in office 2 years. She was in office for 5 years, so more than twice as long as I have. And that's what I asked her in the debate. What do you have to show for? Where did your 5 years go? What did you do? I mean, she voted against the 20% teacher pay increase. She did that. She voted against the border strike force. She did that. So she's got that record that is actually not aligning with Arizona or the message that she's doing. Our 2 years, they're full of examples that we have of what we've done and people that we've worked with. No one has ever accused her of being bipartisan either, right? Pretty partisan in the legislature, while we are ranked the most bipartisan member in Arizona.
Again, you are the most present federal official that I've seen in Southern Arizona. Really, because your other seatmate, Mr. Grijalva, he has his own issues, but even before that, he wasn't too present. And then the two senators don't pay too much attention to what goes down in Southern Arizona.
You got to show up, and when you grow up in this community, it's not hard. It doesn't like take an effort. I don't consciously say I'm going to go show up everywhere. What you do is you go and say you just, like I said, go to school, go coach, go shopping, go to the grocery store. You do those things, and many times that is what people consider showing up because you're part of the community. Now, I do consciously show up to these events, and I have to. The whole Graham-Greenlee area and Pinal are new parts of the district. So it's fair to say that I had to spend a lot of time there to understand what their issues are and where they're coming from. Now, you add up all that vote together. It's not even a fraction of what Pima County's vote is. Nevertheless, I represent everyone. So I've spent a lot of time in those communities and bringing back resources as well as we've done here because they deserve to be represented as well. What you're seeing from Engel's camp is, millions rolling in from out-of-state money. They try to buy this district and just outdo the voices of all these communities around the district as well. We're not going to let them. We're gonna win in 20 days, and it's going to be proven that this district is not for sale.
What's something when you went out into those rural areas? Water is always a big thing.
Water, yeah.
But any other issues out there you didn't, even though you worked for the governor's office for years? What was an issue out there that you didn't realize was important until you actually met with human beings?
In terms of issues, it's water, it's infrastructure. These are the things. Roads and any kind of infrastructure, it's hard for them to get upgrades on because of their low tax base, right? We had at the fire station in the town of Pima. It's a volunteer fire station, but that's who serves that area. Now they don't have the tax base to fix it. So we brought back federal dollars for that. So in terms of issues, those are the ones that we hear about the most. But you have no idea how much it means to them and how many times I've heard, "Thank you for showing up." Nobody else shows up like this, not even in campaign. And those that show up in the campaign season, they just never come back. You got to understand, Graham and Greenlee together is less than 4% of the vote. So that's why people end up canceling on them all the time. But I have always said I have to represent everyone. Being a representative is not just a title, it's a job description, right? So I have to be there and represent them. So one of the things that I was very pleasantly surprised, I guess, of how grateful they are when you just show up. You listen and you want to learn. And that's kind of like the attitude that I show up with all the time.
Presence counts.
It counts because it informs me of what they need. And then when I go to Washington, I can actually work on their behalf on the issues that matter to them, which I wouldn't know because I didn't grow up there, right? I can't claim I understand everything about this area without showing up. I can't do that. So just showing up and being there, being present has gone such a long way with the community there. And they've reciprocated. They're very welcoming to us. And this comes from both, all three independents, Republicans, and even a lot of Democrats that have said, I was in Duncan, and I was going down the road where we're $1.9 million going there. First road in 45 years that gets any kind of upgrade or new construction. And I went into one of those stores along the road, and I went in, and this lady was really welcoming, one of the hotels there. And she said, first thing she says, "I didn't vote for you." I'm like, "Okay, well, nice to meet you too." And she said, "But no one has ever shown up for us the way you have. You're just bringing in results." She's like, "That's all we're asking for. So you've got my support this time around." We've heard that over and over again of people that are they won results. And maybe the first time they didn't know what we were actually do. They voted party line. You know, I understand that. But now that we've shown up, people are actually seeing, you know, again, it's the record that we have that is a big advantage of being an incumbent.
When you're sitting with your campaign nerds looking at keys to winning CD6, what does that look like in relation to areas of improvement or where you see positive change? I mean, that's an anecdotal story about your lady at the hotel, but geographically, how does this need to tumble for a re-election victory for Juan Ciscomani?
Well, we know that Pima County is about 72% of the vote, and we know the party registration in Pima County. And then you've got the other 4 counties that lean more on the Republican side. So in terms of numbers, those have to somehow add up, and that's what happened last time. I outperformed what Republicans usually do in the outer counties, and did better than most Republicans do in Pima County. So that combination is what gave us the victory, which we're gonna do again. So again, it's about focusing on the issues that matter, education for us. You know, I've voted for giving our DACA students a real shot at the American dream, which I'm proud to do. I voted for Title I funding for our schools here. So these are the kind of things that I've you know, broken rank to some extent with what people would expect a Republican to do. And then also at the same time, I'm very much for border security and making sure that we have that working in the way that it needs to. So when you're a third, and a third kind of district, people are going to be happy or upset with every single move that you do.
Sure.
And you're going to have to just be okay with that and vote your values and communicate. That's one thing, Chris, that I've done and that I think has worked. Always communicate. Whatever vote I take or whatever position I take, I'm always responsive to the feedback or the questions and just keep showing up. And I think people appreciate that.
No, they do. You've gone into the dragon's teeth of both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And taken the questions and stayed as long as you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a media guy. If you run for me, I'm going to pound you like a rented mule.
Right? You know, and you should. I mean, people need to be responsive, stand up for what they believe, and take the questions from the public. We've held countless tele-town halls, which is what people prefer. It's easier for them, and we get thousands of people that call in, and I just open up the line for questions. We don't screen them; they just come in. And how do you know I don't screen them? Because you should listen to some of the questions that no one would actually choose that question to be asked in a public forum like that. But I take them because that's what's in people's minds.
Yep. Let's talk border before we got to go.
Yeah.
When you talk to Democrats privately. No cameras, no microphones.
Yeah.
What is the average Democrat House of Representatives take on this mess of a border of the last 3.75 years? What do they tell you?
Democrats in Washington or here?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah. No, that's very different. I mean, I would say the Democrats here that I talked to, they won border security. What they want to make sure is that we have a balanced approach, right? The people here, they want to make sure that as we look at the border, we also got to look at immigration reform to make that easier and smoother. And I'm all for that. So they just want to make sure that we're looking at the border as a whole: trade, commerce, immigration, border security, which I totally respect, and I'm on board with that. The Washington Democrats are very different. I mean, the D.C. Democrats, it's politics, and there are a handful of people that you know, at least pretend, I guess, or want to work on border security, either for political reasons or there are actually border districts that need it. But for the most part, the Washington politicians on both sides, but especially on the Democrat side, they fall in line. They, you know, when something, the SAVE Act, for example, it's clear, it's simple, you know, prove you're a citizen so you can register to vote. Only 5 of them vote for that. You're like, are you serious? So these kind of things do push people on the side, and their leadership is very strong in the sense that they lock them in. Our leadership, some can see it as dysfunctional, right? And in terms of Republicans not always sticking together, but we also have our own thoughts and minds on this, and it's harder to control the group of Republicans. The Democrats they fall in line in Washington, and if it's a border bill they don't like, you know, they call the shots and people vote accordingly, which is very disappointing. But it's very different. The dynamic of dealing with Democrats in Washington D.C. or Democrats at home, it's night and day.
So you've been dealing with border stuff for most of your professional career.
Yeah.
Right? Whether in the Hispanic Chamber, to working in Doug's office. And so I know you must have, sitting down with your crayon, wrote down, what does real immigration reform look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's the top 3 in the Ciscomani plan for real immigration reform look like?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Only great questions from DeSimone.
I should stop saying that because then it's going to get to your head. We can't afford anything else going there.
I already have a large cranium, so
work visas would be one of the first things that I will tackle. When you look at the amount of demand that we have, I just visited a farm here over in the south part of Tucson, 120 employees, Savano, and they about 35% of their workforce there is from H-2A visas, and they could use more. They have amazing housing. I visited all that, and they've got about 70 other employees that are not H-2As, but they're walking me through the process, and every year they have to renew that permit for these people. And if they could extend that to maybe 2 or 3 years of that permit, and people go back home because they want to be with their families for 3 months out of the year, then they come back, that would lower the cost of these companies incredibly. It would make it easier to get basically these people coming back to the same company and add some continuity and certainty that
also
they can
the
get
time value of money of trying to renew 100 employees.
Renew,
right?
And also retrain. Right. So these are all things. If we could actually make the work visa calendar and schedule match the demand that we have here, that would streamline it tremendously. That's one piece. Obviously, we need to tackle the asylum seeking process that also falls in the immigration side. We end up talking about asylum seekers a lot on the security side, but it all starts at the immigration side of things because we need to increase the credible fear standard to make sure that people don't abuse that part of the immigration law that we have. I would also...
But isn't asylum still adjacent country first?
That's what it's supposed to be. So what we're seeing here for a long time, if you enter the country and you were seeking asylum between the ports of entry, that was an automatic denial. That's what it's written. That was the enforcement before. And now they're going back to that. But for almost 3 years, the majority of asylum seekers were coming in through those gaps that we saw on the wall, right? And when you had these large numbers of people coming in and seeking asylum from within the ports of entry, that in the rules should have been, you're out. You can't. You had to seek asylum at the ports of entry. So a lot of these things can be fixed by just enforcing the current laws. I mean, it's that simple. But the credible fear standard for asylum seekers is a big one as well. And also I mentioned our Dreamer and DACA students that have been in the country since they were 2 years old. All they do is speak English. They want to be part of this nation, pursue the American dream. We need a path for the people that, they've been here for 20 years or so, and they want to go to school. They want to join the military. They want to get a job. They've been here not getting in trouble for that long. These are kids that we should be working in favor of as well, and making sure, and that helps with the workforce as well.
See, It's been such a bizarre 3.5 years in relation to immigration, where Pima County has spent it's over $100 million of just FEMA money that could have went to North Carolina. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, it's a whole other story. You're right.
Right, FEMA money to blow through 500,000 illegal immigrants into the country, fly in, drive them, all this stuff, right? And you're kind of saying to yourself, what are we doing here, right? And also, I always say that the cartels that make so much money off of the misery of this border include Pima County's Drexel facility. It's like in the flow chart of you pay me $6,000 or whatever the number is, or indentured servitude for 5 years, and we'll get you to the Pima County facility at Drexel, and then you can go from there.
I haven't talked to you about this yet, but I haven't reported to you about this yet. I went to the Sasabe Port of Entry over in Santa Cruz County, and then about 20 miles off that into the desert. Rough terrain. We were there in the middle of the night. And I wanted to go see what it looks like that late at night. And then Border Patrol Council, that's the one that took me there. Like, okay, it's going to be more of a danger zone. They were well equipped to if something went down. But we got to see this tent.
Did you have your Kevlar on?
I had my Apple Watch on.
Okay.
So we got to see this tent that had about 5 or 6 different languages of stuff written on the walls of the schedule of Border Patrol agents and when they would stop by. So instructions basically were people that would stop by there and so they could keep on moving or catch a ride with Border Patrol when they were going to showing up. I went to the portion of the wall where it ended, and it had all this profanity against Border Patrol, an anti-Trump sticker, and then we could see Border Patrol showed me with the flashlight where the hub was of the cartel. The guy watching the activity.
Sure.
There was food laid out that he would come in and consume every once in a while, and then go back to his little tent.
It's a lookout post.
It's a lookout post. And then as soon as we got there, then he reported. Border Patrol told us on the activity, and then we started seeing trucks on the Mexican side now watching us as we were still there because we were there for like an hour and a half. We actually had a flat tire, so we had to all pitch in and change that. So you see that kind of activity happening there, and you think to yourself, so who's organizing this, right? You could see that where the point of entry where they were coming in, and this is what happens. To your point, I asked Border Patrol there. I said, well, it seems to me that before the most expensive part of the journey to come into the U.S. was once you got into the U.S. so you could be transferred over to the wherever you wanted to be if you were being trafficked. And he says, yeah, and now they've got the federal government for that.
Wow.
So what the cartels used to spend a lot of money on was obviously getting them to the Mexican border, the Mexican-U.S. border, but then transporting them within the U.S. was the
So the cartel had to
hardest,
do it.
the hardest part of the
or the
journey.
person had to do it themselves.
Exactly.
But
Not
now we're
anymore.
doing it.
Not anymore. And you got federal dollars going to that. And that is one of the worst things about this. And billions have flown to that. Talk about that, supposedly bipartisan bill that they like to hammer us on all the time. One of the issues I had is that had billions for that and no money for construction of the new wall.
Right.
So it was unbalanced in that sense. So that is a big issue right there.
So I'm a big wall, big gate kind of guy when it comes to the southern border. So you and I have always talked about cross-border trade of the stuff that we really want to come across. Because basically through the illegal immigration process, we're imparting a lot of poverty.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot of wealth that comes through the ports. So where are we at in Arizona in relation to infrastructure of ports? I remember it was you and I have talked about in the past. They improved Mariposa down in Nogales, but then they didn't put money in to staff it for a while.
Yeah,
which is classic.
The
federal
closed
government.
lanes. I know it's just that, the lanes were built, but no people to staff them. That's in Mariposa, the commercial port, and then you have DeSimone, which is the port within Nogales.
Yeah.
That port, it's busting at the seams. You can't even grow it. And a lot of the people that self-report asylum seekers go to that port, so that gets overwhelmed. So they pull agents from the Mariposa port down to the DeSimone port to deal with the processing of the migrants, especially. And they showed me once an unaccompanied minor shows up, everything pauses, the line stops, and boom, they take care of that minor immediately. So the people trafficking, the cartel leaders trafficking people, they know exactly what our reaction is going to be on our side. And they plan for that. That's exactly part of their business model. Now, some good news that are happening over in the Douglas port of entry. That's going to be expanded. That's good for trade and commerce in that area, and also in the San Luis, basically in Yuma County.
Yep.
That's also has a 2-port solution there.
Are we losing commerce coming through Arizona port of entries that's going over to McAllen because our infrastructure is not as good?
Oh, yeah.
McAllen's in Texas for our geography.
Yes, because we're competing with California and Texas that have much larger ports, a lot of more traffic. But one of the things that we did, this is years ago, and now it's with Ducey, is that we added cold room facilities because we were losing a lot of the berries and a lot of the vegetables that were being transferred. That were being.
That's the problem when you're doing produce.
Yeah.
Is if it's sitting at the port too long.
The port. Now, exactly what happens when they close the port or close lanes because of what I just explained, right? They got to move agents. So all of a sudden you got trucks full of food that could go bad. So when people or businesses, that's money right there. Time is money, and they're like, should I risk it through Arizona and get stopped and lose my produce, or go somewhere where I can be guaranteed to move in quicker? And we were seeing that companies were going across Mexico to go to the Texas port instead of using Arizona. So when we established the cold room facilities where that can be inspected in cold rooms, that enhanced the trade as well. So trade and commerce is steady, is going well. But when you add an unsafe border, that is what can really damage it. But business is resilient, and we keep that up. Christmas and holiday season is coming.
Sure,
that's a big time for our retail and hospitality industries to make a lot of money with the Mexican national shoppers.
Or in Marana, there's a big outlet mall here.
Oh yeah,
that a huge chunk of the tax.
Yeah, I live a few minutes away from there, so that's where I go shopping, also for school or anything with the kids too. I walk around. I'm like, man, if you don't speak Spanish in this place, you're in trouble, because that place is being sustained in a lot of ways by these Mexican shoppers.
If I want to see a couple of buddies I know who live in Hermosillo,
that's where you go.
I know you go to the Cheesecake Factory at Tucson Mall.
Pinnacle Peak is a big one for them too. I don't know why they come up to eat steak there. Yeah.
All right, before I let you go, let's do. You're in the elevator with the Democrat who voted against you 2 years ago, and they're feeling a little undecided because things are weird right now, right? The border's a mess. The Happy Meal at McDonald's is $17. It's getting tough out there.
Yeah.
What do you tell that person in the elevator? Why Juan Ciscomani in 2024?
Sure. The first thing I would tell him is say, listen, I'm just asking you to judge us by the results. Look at where you were some years ago, where you are today. I've worked hard to represent this district for everyone. These are the results that I've brought back, working across the aisle to make sure that we do the things that matter. I am for a better economy, so we can afford things that we want to afford without having to have the condition of making so much more money. This is not a partisan or a political thing. This is just a results thing. That I'm from this community, and I look forward to representing you another 2 years. And you always have an open door. We're not going to agree on everything. We know that, but that happens with everyone. So all I'm asking for is another opportunity here for another 2 years to keep on working on the things that matter. And you'll always have a seat at my table and be able to have a conversation with anyone. Again, we may disagree at the end on some things, but I think we can agree that we want to afford things that we were able to afford before that we can no longer afford. We want safety, security. We want a good education for our kids. These are the basic things that I'm fighting for, and I look forward to having your support.
I love it. All right.
Awesome, man.
As
Thanks,
they say
buddy.
in ESPN, you're off the Budweiser hot seat, as they say. So,
Thank you.
Great. Good luck.
Thanks, brother.
I'm pulling for you as always.
Appreciate it, man.
And that's Juan Ciscomani, U.S. Congressman, CD6. So
thank you.
All right. Just walk right off. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
I'm going to keep talking. So
okay, great.
You just get going. So I appreciate
Adios.
it. Juan Ciscomani. He's one of the best public servants I've seen in this place in a long time. The other thing too about this district that you guys have to understand is, and for people who are Republicans who you're enjoying a 1-seat majority in the House of Representatives, is I need gentlemen like Juan or women out there who can win balanced districts. And if you're not winning balanced districts, hi, what am I? Oh, I was like, what's going on out there? If you're not winning balanced districts, you're not winning majorities. That's how this works. So, and the way redistricting works, I don't know if you guys know this, is the party in charge of redistricting is going to pound out as many districts as possible that they know that is a sure win for their team, so they can try to build majorities in legislatures. So that's where you're at. So I have to have guys and girls that can win balanced districts to win majorities, because those who show up and have majorities, guess what they do? They make laws and they control aspects of your life. So thanks to Juan Ciscomani. I never got to say hi to Ron or anyone in the meat locker. I appreciate their help. Go to Live the Dream Media and on your Google and Apple stores and download the app, because the future of media and news, not just in Southern Arizona or in Arizona and beyond, is happening right here. Come along for the ride. All right, everyone, have a great day.
Hi, I'm Alan Murray. Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash.
When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward.
Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
Calling all families. The Marana Pumpkin Patch is your ticket to fall fun for everyone. From toddlers to grandparents. We've got it all. Jumping pillows, a diesel train, a super slide, and more. Kids will love our farm animals, while adults will love our famous corn maze. And don't forget our 70-acre pumpkin patch from Post Farms. Marana Pumpkin Patch, where families make unforgettable fall memories. Tickets available now at maranapumpkinpatch.com.
Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Live the Dream Media Working Title Podcast. We have replaced Juan Ciscomani, Congressman, with the mayor of Ina Road, Clint Peak.
That was a great. I was just saying to David, and actually David said it to me first, but that last question you asked the congressman was fantastic and a great answer, by the way.
Oh, in relation to if you're in
the
stuck in
Happy
an
Meal
elevator,
and $17, and yeah, that was cool. I reminded you that about a month ago I said right here I'd love to have Juan in this seat. You delivered, my friend.
That's what we do. That's what we do in the DeSimone in the D train world.
Yeah,
we're delivering all the time. The train's hitting all the stops and making all the deliveries.
So if you hear it, you probably don't, because I've been watching and I haven't heard it, but there's air conditioners being installed on the roof as we speak.
Yeah, we are working without air conditioning right now, which is against OSHA regulations. But
we wouldn't have been able to pull this off last week when it was 108.
Little toast here. So you guys just saw the ad for our friend, the Post family's Marana Pumpkin Patch. Well, I mean, the next 4 days are going to be so amazing because they open on Thursday through Sunday. But when you get there, if we go there on Saturday, I might have to wear a sweatshirt.
Let's see, Saturday, 73 is a high.
I'm telling you, man.
73 is
Someone's
high.
like, oh, what are you going to do with it? If it's really, they're talking about like high 70s and 50% chance of rain on Friday. And I said, well, I'm just going to clear my afternoon schedule, and me and the dog are going to lay it in Naranjo Park and go, hey, look, we're outside without being murdered by the sun. So,
and next week's a little warmer. So if you're
more seasonal.
If you're more into the cooler weather, this would be the weekend to.
But you can have low 90s and low 60s in October. That works.
For me, that works.
That's normal. That 100 crap was stupid.
That 85 to 90, we skip by that way too quick, as far as I'm concerned.
So the mayor of Ina Road was hanging out with the mayor of Marana this morning.
Yeah, we had a good
time. They
time.
finally cracked open this Fry's in Gladden Farms.
I got to tell you, and I got video of it to prove it. Ed took a shot at it.
He took a shot at what?
Well, it only took you 17 years to do this. That was the first thing that he said. And Patty, our good friend Patty Comerford, the councilwoman, said, oh, I loved it. Ed took a shot. He did it twice, by the way.
Oh, my Lord.
Only 17 years to do that.
Had to build the housetops, baby.
You know what? He asked us not to share the time. And being a man of Omerta and being, I never shared the time. Tammy and I got there at about 15 minutes till 7.
Right.
Which the ribbon cutting was 7. We had to literally park behind the building The place was
So you're saying the on the sly, not the public was really going to know about the ribbon cutting.
right, because they'd be inundated and overwhelmed.
Place was packed.
The place was packed. I mean, we got like the last parking spot in the whole.
Now, I've been to we don't have any down here per se. The one on Thornydale and Ina is close, but Phoenix has bigger fries that has like the whole giant cheese shop, and then it has more hot food options.
This one, the number, and I remembered because it's an easy one, 123,000 square feet.
Yeah. So
300 employees.
Yikes.
So it's got to be bigger than Tangerine then, the one on Tangerine.
That's
and
what I'm
Thornydale.
thinking. So
It's got to be. That one, I don't think can
I've
be
been
a
I've been a couple in the Maricopa County area that are bigger
beast,
than
yeah. This is huge, though. This is huge for the whole Gladden Farm community. And
Well, it keeps
that
you from
growth-
driving.
Yeah.
So
Plus
it takes the heat off of. Yeah, I mean, really, the fries on Tangerine going on. That's the next supermarket.
Yeah.
Right, or you got to go down to Cortero,
And
which
the
is already
Walmart, yeah,
which has
which
got
is a
way
mess.
too much
It's a
traffic
mess.
as it is. So it could take some of the heat off of that.
And Tangerine right now, they're fixing that road from basically Dove Mountain out to the interstate, and it's a mess too.
I couldn't believe it stacked up. We were going up to Phoenix. It's a Saturday at like, I don't know, 8 or 9.
How far back?
50, 60 cars.
Was it back to Trico?
Not as that far.
And it was a Saturday, so yeah.
But still, I couldn't believe it for a Saturday.
I've seen it on the weekdays. I know one Friday I got over there, and this morning, by the way, 2 trains went by as we came. We allowed a little extra 2 trains, so that's still a problem.
A client I had for years was Gray Line Tours of Arizona. And it was started by the Morgan family in 1916. Still owned and operated by the same family. Now, they just recently sold it, believe it or not.
108 years.
But what happened was that the old man, Tom Morgan Sr., he was the second of the Tom Morgans, okay? He was a stickler. He's a Hall of Fame. He passed away a few years ago. He was a Hall of Fame member of the Arizona Trucking Association, and also he was the Gray Line Worldwide Board also honored him as like one of their Hall of Famers. Okay, guy's amazing, hard ass A-typer. Okay, but he knew that there were rules about trains on how long they can close a road.
Right.
So in his caddy, he had a stopwatch.
I love it.
So he lived in the foothills. He lived over by kind of by Casas Church over there. Not Casas Church, Foothills Church.
Foothills, yeah.
Over in that area. And so he'd get off maybe sometimes at like Roof Roff before they did the improvement, right? And he'd stop
Clockwise,
and he'd
stopwatch come out.
hit that watch. And so one day, Arizona Trucking Association was in Washington, D.C. doing their, we're going to go see our legislators kind of trip. And they had a scheduled meeting with John McCain.
Okay.
They sit down, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, yes, Senator. We need a little help with some highway funding and blah, 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 right? They get to my boy, Tom Sr., and he whips out a piece of paper. He goes, here's the average times that damn Pacific Railroad is locking down Roof Roff Road, violating federal law.
Yeah. And it's not very long.
I got to get you. We're going to get everyone Marana labeled, logoed stopwatches.
Yeah. It's not very long. Today we had 2. I don't think they were pushing it.
Yep.
But now they did run it. They were running simultaneously, which that's pretty smart. Let's get them both through at the same time.
Right.
But at 6:45, is that optimal time to use that track? Can we do most of that at like 3 in the morning?
Can we do it at 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
Why or like 10?
Yeah.
Why are we doing it during any of that jazz?
Goofy.
So
You know what the talk is about that intersection? And I love the idea. I'm saying, yeah, do it.
what's that?
Putting a more road exit in.
I've heard that.
Which makes total sense because now you can just ignore Tangerine for now as far as repairing it.
Right.
Go over there and a clean slate. Because think about when they built Twin Peaks. Did anybody even notice it? It was just there. You want to fix some problems over there, create some new exits because we're growing like crazy.
Yeah,
anyway.
you need the new exit. You need to tell people that they could like improve the frontage road to go up to
Well,
Marana.
You'll have to.
We got to somehow we got to get around it. There's actually, I think, who's telling me that if you make a right into that empty neighborhood, you can literally take a road that takes you up to Marana Road, I think.
Yeah.
So you don't, if you're waiting on 100 cars.
David could tell you that the name of the street. Now it's a little longer.
Yeah.
It is a little longer, but there's no traffic on it at all.
Right.
And you can fly through there. I forget what the name of that road is.
You can fly underneath the speed limit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to advocate breaking the speed limit, but it is they did it because of that one of those train issues that happened over there.
Right.
And they're building houses they're going to build 6,000 houses in there. So there's another 24,000 people that are going to move to Marana over the next 10 years.
Marana is
the hottest town in the Southwest, if you ask me, percentage-wise.
Absolutely.
There's no question about it. And you know what, Chris?
Yes.
I don't think that's by accident at all. I think geographically there's a benefit to it, but I think that is, and I've said this to the mayor and other people of the council, I think that a lot of that is because of good planning for the people that built this community back in the day. Now, geographically, you couldn't be located better.
Now, one of our favorite humans in the world is Ron Arenas, right? Mm-hmm. He's in the meat locker
by.
right now.
It's probably not.
There he
is it still meat locker cold in there?
There's
now,
that
though?
rule guy over there. Also, good morning, gentlemen.
How's the temp in there this morning, guys?
It's not a meat locker. It's pretty good.
Give us a couple hours.
All right.
They say they'll have it done in 2 hours. Of course, talking to a heating, cooling, and air conditioning and plumbing guy, that probably means what? 4 o'clock.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I look like Biden from that red thing. What's going on here?
The one where he's like this?
Yeah. No offense, but I didn't realize. Wow.
You look a little extra red and shiny.
Wow. Look at you. Looking all, and yeah. And go back to the red dude.
The red dude, is that Raul?
No, that's me.
That's him. That's Clint.
I'm
Look at
like,
him.
whoa. Tone it down, big guy. Get out of the sun.
Mr. Peak, please don't spend so much time in the tanning bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude. Here comes David Samarano.
Oh, no. Dave's going to. Oh, you think it's the feedback on the. Oh, that,
look at
you
there.
think that's going to help?
Let's see.
All right, let's go to Clint. He changed. Let's go to the Clint.
Well,
Nah.
It's just behind me's not as red, but.
Looks like a salamander.
Yeah. Hey, quick story.
Yeah, no, there it is. That's the one with.
That's the one right there. Raul's got it. Hey, quick story. I used to never burn sun-wise.
Yep.
And San Diego couldn't have been more than 80 degrees. And a lady comes over to me and she goes, "You know what? You need to put some sunscreen on."
Yep. Oh, that's
and
better.
I was burnt like
Leave that better. That's better.
It's a disco thing going on for me.
This is the best. Now keep the disco thing on, David.
Yeah.
So before we go,
are we done?
Well,
we're pretty close.
We're getting close.
You're not going to ask some. You haven't got like a trivia.
No,
test for me.
I do. It's one. Which lesbian are you? No, I'm just kidding.
I got one for you. Where is it?
So this is for our boy Ron Arenas.
Oh, good.
Okay, I had multiple people send me this article. It was in the Wall Street Journal. Ron, do you know the story I'm talking about that was in the Wall Street Journal that hit the last 3 days?
No, I didn't.
It's by reporter Tae-Ping Chen, right? And it says, now, the one thing you guys don't know, some of you know, Picture Rock's Heating and Cooling just got into a new building as the expanding empire.
Cheers. Where's the cheers?
We did. Thank you.
Where is that building roughly in town?
We're over at Broadway and Campbell, so we're right in the heart of the city.
There you go, right near Roma Imports for good Italian sandwiches.
And Rocco's.
And Rocco's.
Yeah.
New location opening up just the next couple of weeks. So this article, because it's the idea that I assume the business is growing, right, Ron?
It is growing, so we needed that extra space.
So here we go. Wall Street Journal, October 12th. America's new millionaire class, plumbers and HVAC entrepreneurs.
I saw that.
All right. private equity is pouring into skilled trade small businesses.
Yeah, well, private equity for the past probably 4 to 5 years has just been buying up businesses all throughout the nation. Yeah.
Getting ready for the Arenas family retirement, even the kids on this one. So,
Yeah.
now here's the thing. Few businesses are as vital as their customers' local plumbing, HVAC companies, especially in places like Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, there's truth to that. Everyone needs cooling and everyone needs plumbing.
Trades are hard work. A lot of society picking up a shovel is a foreign thing to them. Not bad. Let's see. You don't need to quote. This is from a partner in a Detroit-based Huron Capital, which focuses on investments in service companies. Quote: You don't need to go into Silicon Valley to have a successful career in entrepreneurial opportunities. Unquote. I like this one. This is from Adam Hanover, chairman of Redwood Services. Everyone and their uncle owns an HVAC business in the private equity space today. So that's part of the whole thing. So there's a great South Park episode where no one can do their own work.
Yeah.
Right? It starts with Randy, that Stan's dad, the handle on his oven broke. So he doesn't know how to do it because he's become so lazy, right? And the internet and Clint's girlfriend AI, right? That no one can do anything. So what happens is he just wants to call a handyman.
Right.
Right?
Isn't that what you do when the handle breaks on your oven?
So what happens is,
so
one of the themes through the whole thing is everyone's calling. No one can do anything now to fix anything at their house. Right. So the handymen are all huge rich guys now, right?
Love it.
And so he's like, oh, we need the handyman. And so the guy comes in like a tricked out Hummer.
It's bouncing up and down.
It's got the bouncing, and the guy to come fix this thing has like a fur stole on, right? He's got all the bling, right?
I love it.
And then later, like they're at the, you can see the guys are, the handymen have made so much money, right? This is the guy from their town that he has his own rocket ship, like Elon Musk.
Flies from job to job.
So when I saw this is Ron. He's going to be blinging it out when he gets
air
paid.
conditioning guys and electricians and builders.
Yep.
Our good buddy Pete Van Bogart up there at PVV, they're killing it. They do steel. And they're good. They're really good at what they do.
Yep.
But my goodness, you wouldn't have thought that 20 years ago. You know, you wouldn't say to your people were. Let's go 40 years ago when I was a young guy. Everybody go to college, get an education. Nothing wrong. I'm not banging on colleges, but unless you're going to be in something in medical,
right?
I would almost argue. Other than medical, you could kind of learn as an apprentice on basically any job, including law.
Medical's so tough right now.
They're leaving it like crazy. My sister being one of them, they're like, "Yeah, I'm out."
So my mom was seeing an MD over down on Ina. I'll tell you who it is off air, and you could tell that the practice, because this happened over especially the last several years, are being bought out by big hospital systems.
Right.
So when they look at you as a doctor, they just want to know how many clients you have.
Right.
Then they shove you into their model, which is see as many people during the day and do the least amount of work or actual doctoring. Right.
And be real good at insurance claims.
Right. And so that's why I call my mom's MD that I can't stand, just the billing. I call her the billing. Oh, we got to call the billing conduit?
Yeah.
That's where we're at in medicine.
My late stepfather, before he passed away, they were just shuttling him. He passed away in 2017, but he had 2, 3, 4, 5, and he was in pretty good health. But he had 3, 4, 5 doctor's appointments every month.
Wow.
They were just shuttling him from one to the other, and it was just going for routine checkups, basically for an old person. And I remember one time he had and he was really like an A personality as well. And he checked all the paperwork, and he's like, they paid for something I didn't do. It was like $6,000, something like that. And he was kind of like fighting them to, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever he's using at that time. And they didn't. They could have cared less. And
It's almost as bad as getting your car serviced at a dealer.
You know why I did that one time? I was still under like a used car.
There
which
goes
I'm in
another
the market
advertiser.
Yeah, I'm in the market right now for a low mileage 2023 Yukon. Somebody's got something.
You're
like,
selling your current rig.
Well, I'm going
you
to
did
sell
sell
it sooner or later. I'll probably hold on to it till after the holidays because a lot of people want to borrow it. So rather than let them borrow my newer car.
Gotcha.
But I had one that was still under warranty. I forget which vehicle it was. It was when I bought it. It was still new, but it was still under warranty. And I took it to the dealer, and I'm like, yeah, free oil change, right? Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm going to Furrier's. They're close. They're convenient. They're going to take care of me. Yeah, it's going to cost me $60 to $100, but the convenience factor and the hassleness, the hassle-free part of it. Yeah,
So I had a friend who lived up in Scottsdale, and one day him and I were playing. He wanted to play golf. I came up for the day, and we played the Greyhawk course up in North Scottsdale. Okay. And it was just the two of us, so we got paired up with two people for a foursome, right? These two guys turned out to be the service managers of a local Scottsdale dealer. And by the time they went through their stories of 18 holes, him and I were like this. And we're like, we will never take our car ever to a dealer to get serviced again.
Yeah.
It better be under warranty and just taking care of that.
Yeah. Just like I say, mine was under warranty. Mine's free. But I'm not doing the free oil change because it's just that.
Hassle/drama.
Yeah, and I can take it right down here to my boy Jason at Furrier's. Matter of fact, there are times he'll come and get it.
I remember when we had to go get the free oil. We did the free oil change. And Mrs. D was staying home with kids. Mm-hmm. So I was working, and she went to go.
It's an all-day affair, wasn't it?
Well, the other thing was they saw her by herself as a woman.
Yeah.
And they started giving her. They brought out the cardboard. Well, this is what transmission fluid is supposed to look like. And they look like biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
And they go, "This is what yours looks like. And you better get this done."
And you need a cabin filter every time you get an oil change, apparently.
I do. I stink a lot. So.
Hey, so a real quick story. I'm gonna shout out Jason down at Furrier's here. My guy has been down for 16, 17, 18 years. I had a vehicle in my family that I didn't think it was time for an oil change, but they had not reset it. Whoever did the oil change had not reset it. So it showed up, needs to be an oil change, and so I take it into Jason. This is not too long ago, and he's like, "That can't be. We just did the oil in that." Checked it out. Yeah, no, we're not even close. Came out, reset it to what it should have been to begin with, shorten it up. And I said to him, "You know what? I owe you right now because I was going to pay for an oil change, but you just saved me an oil. There's nobody probably in town that would have done what you just did."
I have a guy. He's my boy, and he used to own a mechanic shop for years in Tucson. He was the guy who would say, "You don't need this right now."
Yeah.
Right. Let's take care of the stuff that you really need to get. I really believe you need to get done. So he's in semi-retirement. And so I've been blessed. I can't reveal his name, but he does concierge service for people that he likes as clients in the old days.
Yeah.
I was invited in the inner circle, so I go to a secret little conclave.
Well, mine's
to
not
get my car
secret.
fixed.
Jason down here. Same thing has happened. Same thing's happened. Our daughter a few years ago. We need brakes. Nah, we don't need brakes.
So,
you got a little dust in there. We'll clean that out.
So Jack and his kids have always advertised on Wake Up Tucson for the early days of the show, and so I've always appreciated his support. And the people are happy, and they're a long time, and they do some of the funniest commercials.
Christine, who has a show, Backseat Thriver.
Did you say Backseat
Thriver?
Thriver. Okay, I thought you went Elmer Fudd on me a little bit.
Thriver. She's done a pilot. She's coming back this Friday. She starts on Friday with her new series. She's Jack's granddaughter.
Oh, awesome!
Nice young lady. We were really excited to have her on the team.
I love it.
God's blessing us in ways that
live the dream. Yeah. People live in the dream a lot over around here. So remember, download the app,
please. And what's the matter? Why haven't you already?
We got to keep saying it.
1,150 in 3 weeks.
Beautiful. I hear we got music stations blowing up.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
I love it. So I'm programming the Perry Como station. It's going to be rocking.
Hey, I'm down with that. Come on, are you kidding me? Especially when I'm driving and I'm a little bit frustrated.
When the she sheds are flying at you, you're listening to little Papa Loves Mambo.
Hey, can I answer that on this? I answered it on Local Marana, but I'm going to answer it on Working Title Podcast. David was asked why I was driving in that. When that happened, in that storm that the she shed hit me.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was safe where I was at. There was stuff blowing all over the place, and windows looked like they were going to blow out. It was here at this plaza, and I have a roofing company right behind me. Stuff was blowing at me, and I was like, well, I could sit here, or I could try to move.
And my wife remember, we're pluggers. That's our boy Daniel over at Blueprint. We love Daniel.
No, that's the other way. Yeah, Daniel on this side. I can't think of it.
If we don't,
Daniel over here. Daniel's over here.
So your AI didn't tell you how to avoid the storm?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay.
And I'm experienced at storms. I'm experienced. Although my wife,
I can see the AI.
My wife,
the sea shed is coming towards you, Clint.
I think
Turn
my
left.
wife about 40 times on the trip home said, "Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?" And I'm like, "I got this."
Well, the Lowe's lawyers are listening to this right now.
Yeah. And we did not buy our air conditioners from Lowe's. Just saying.
On that note, say goodnight, Gracie.
Yeah. Good night, Gracie.
Clint, God bless you, young man.
Yeah, way more than I deserve.
And remember, we just had before Clint came on with me, we had a wonderful conversation with U.S. Congressman Juan Ciscomani. And check it out at the Live the Dream Media.
Yeah. If you didn't see that, go back. That was a great episode.
Where can we see this?
All over the place. Whatever your favorite platform. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It'll replay. Go to the Live the Dream Media app.
I wish you could.
Right
we
there.
have an app.
Live the Dream Media app. We do have an app. Download it. It will be there.
Did you ever meet Anton Chisholm?
Good guy. Doesn't know how to take time off to get the real work done, but he's a good guy.
Man, Clint Zinger. All right, everyone, have an amazing day.
Guys.
Ron and Raul, thanks for all your efforts as always. And Ron will be here for about another 6 months before he sells off the entire company to BlackRock for $16 million.
Yeah.
So you're on, I was going to say you're on Wake Up Tucson. You're on Live the Dream Media.
Yeah.
It's the habits of it all. We'll see you next Wednesday. Keep watching these pages for amazing content about local, national, and the big picture issues. So live the dream, damn it.